This is Mr. Billie Randolph, my father-in-law, who served in the 35th Division in World War II. He entered the service April 25th, 1944, and was a private first class, and his job description was described in an Army handbook as Rifleman 745. 4 days after entering the service, his daughter, Martha Randolph, was born. Here you can see a picture of her with her mother, Christine Panel Randolph, that we call Mama. And by the way, we call Mr. Randolph Papa. This is Papa when he arrived in England. Here he is in Southampton, and he did some more training before getting ready to land at Omaha Beach. Now, this chart I obtained from Army historians chronicling what I call in abbreviated fashion the movements of the 35th Division during the war. You can see them landing at the beachhead on Omaha Beach, going eastward through France, liberating villages and towns, going basically almost into Germany, and then going up into Belgium, and Papa actually fought in the Battle of the Bulge, which we'll describe as we go along. Now, this map shows where the 35th Division and Papa would have been on several key dates. They landed in Omaha Beach, July the 7th, 1944, about 30 days after D-Day, which was on June the 8th. On June the 11th, they were already fighting in the hedgerows, and you can read about that battle in several chronicles, and I will put one up on our family website. By August the 2nd, they were on their way across France, liberating French towns. However, between August the 7th and the 13th, the journal says they were flagged off the road to rescue the lost 30th battalions, 30th Division Battalion. Now, the 35th Division continued across France, capturing Nancy, France, on about September the 15th, 1944. Now I'm going to show you a slide or two. This slide shows Papa with his squad in a French town that was liberated. I think this may have been Marey, M-A-R-E-Y, France, although I can't prove it exactly, except some of these buildings look like some in another picture that I will show you. Anyway, Papa was with Company K. You can see some of the French children in the background as they liberated several French towns. The people came out and just cheered them because they were so glad to be to have the Germans out of the way. Now, this slide shows Billie Randolph in Mary, France, or Mari, France, with two of his squad members. This slide shows the small town of Mary and what it looks like today. I got this from Google Earth, and as you look at this small town, which now has a population of about 60, although there are other towns close by with greater populations. but some of these buildings look like they must have looked back in World War II. Now, picking up the march towards Berlin, by October the 1st, the 35th Division was getting close to the German border. After crossing the Bleis River on December the 12th, the division moved to Metz for rest and rehabilitation on or about December the 19th. But this rest was interrupted, and the 35th moved on into Belgium December 25th through the 26th, and took part in the fighting to relieve Bastogne, throwing off the attacks of 4 German divisions. This was part of the Battle of the Bulge, taking place from December the 15th through January the 25th. On or about January the 15th, Billie Randolph was wounded near Bastogne, and he was taken back to England to the hospital for recovery. About April the 1st, after recovering, Papa rejoined the squad near Sassenberg, Germany, and we'll see where that is on the map. Sassenberg, Germany is right here. It's a little farther on the way to Berlin. At this point, the 35th was headed to Berlin to end the war. The Germans were pretty much defeated by now. However, the Russian army was allowed to capture Berlin. Papa stopped just short of Berlin and spent the rest of the time mopping up occupation of the defeated Germany and MP work. VE Day was May the 7th, 1945, when we celebrated our victory over the Germans. Papa set sail from Southampton on September the 5th and was back in the U.S. and was separated from the Army on November the 6th, 1945. He was home for Thanksgiving. This slide sort of sums up things. The 35th Division suffered 85% casualties in 10 months of combat duty in France and Germany in World War II, with only 10 days rest. Of the 35th's original strength of 13,000 men, only 15% remained. A total of 15,800 men, replacements and originals, were killed, wounded, missing, or captured. Now, Billie Randolph was wounded in January 1945. He returned to the battlefield in April and continued until D-Day, after which he served in the occupation. He set sail and returned to New York City, September 1945. He was awarded a Purple Heart. We love Papa, and we will always be thankful for his courageous service in World War II.